Yeah, Faf, just if you could talk us through your emotions. Obviously, very disappointed, we were all sure, and what your message to the players was in the minutes following the end of the game.
Yeah, very disappointed. It almost feels like 2 years ago against New Zealand again, where we actually played a good game of cricket. I can't fault the game that we played today. We threw everything at New Zealand, possibly 20 runs short if you're really harsh on yourself, but it was a tough wicket. And in the field and within the ball, the guys tried for 50 overs, and that's all I can ask for. There was a great intensity. Kane played a great knock. It's probably the difference between the two sides. It's just one guy just taking it through. The fact that we batted for a bit, got through a tough time, getting a partnership together, then we lose a wicket. Then we batted again and got the partnership together. So it was a lot of stop-start. And with that, you lose out on 15, 20 runs. And that's what we were saying in the dressing room the whole time, was trying to get to 260, 270. That would be a really good score. So we did feel like we were just a little bit under where we wanted to be, but still runs on the board. If we bowl well, it will be a tough score. And the message from me the whole time was just for the guys, the whole time, just to keep them in the game. Even though if someone batted well or played a few good shots, it was just to keep the intensity in the field. And I can't fault that. I do believe he threw everything out there with the ball especially. So well played to Kane. I thought it was a really good knock, showing how to put an innings together on a pitch that you need to decide when to push and when to hold back. And he picked his bowlers. He targeted a few overs in the game, and the rest he just ticked it off. So really good chase from him.
Faf, replay showed that Kane did nick that ball off Imi's last over, the last ball that Imran he celebrated, but Quinny didn't seem to move. Were you guys aware that he did nick it afterwards, and could that have been changed the game?
No, we didn't. We weren't aware of it. I think I was at long on at the time, and I go on Quinny. Quinny is the closest to the action. He's always my go-to man, and both the LBW shot, and I just thought it was a plain miss. I just heard about it now at the post-match with Pommy that he said he had a faint nick on it. But even Kane said he didn't know he had a fainty on it. He would have referred it. So you can't. That's not where the game was won and lost. We had, I think, 20 runs short, and then we had one or two really, really tough half chances. If it was a perfect game, if we took that and Kane was out, the game would have been really tight. But it's that for me. That's not the difference to today.
You said a lot about how Kane played and the difference to 20 runs. But if you look at your batters and in your side, is that what you've been asking for from your team, for your senior players?
Yeah.
Was that the example that your senior players could have provided?
Yeah, we've been saying, and we've been hard on ourselves in that as well. We need guys to stand up and put in performances that will win you games. And that has been where we've been short. In all the games that we've played so far, the one innings of Quinny getting 60 or 70 the previous game is signs of that. But we still need more. We want guys to put in match performances, runs, and as he showed, that's why I use him as a reference, that you need someone to go further, and we haven't had that, and that's purely the finger pointing back at us as a batting unit. We did well in parts today. As I said, the wicket wasn't as flat as you thought it would be. Those first 15 overs felt exactly like Auckland. The ball was hooping around corners there. So we felt like we did the hard work, and you thought it would get easy, but they kept getting a wicket every time there was a 50 partnership, 60 partnership. And you need that to go to 100, and you need one guy to bat through the innings. Rassie did a little bit of that, but it was a 60, 67. You need someone to get 100 plus, and that gives you that 15, 20 more runs that I speak of.
Faf, you mentioned Kane targeting certain bowlers really well. Do you feel that maybe in the middle overs there could have been a bit more intent showed against de Grandhomme, Santner and that, just make it easier at the end?
No, not really. Unfortunately, today it wasn't Andy's day. They scored freely off him, especially when he came back from the top end. There was a few more loose deliveries from them that you don't normally see. No, but we tried to attack the whole time. When Colin came in, Imi was straight back on. That's as much intent as you can show to try and get a wicket. And then I brought Chris and KJ and Lungi back at different times. But having just 5 bowlers, he had to bowl 10 today. And that meant that at times he would have to come back. And unfortunately today was probably his first performance of the tournament where he hasn't been unbelievable for us, which is normal. He's only human as well. But yeah, I think I can't fault the bowling unit today. I thought they were brilliant. They tried really hard. 5 or 10 runs in the field here and there, and then 15 with the bat. I thought it would have been a winning total.
So I meant when you guys were batting.
Oh, when we were batting. Yeah, he's a tricky guy. If you see, like he was moving the ball around the whole time, so the guys really struggled. But I mean, yes, the answer to that is, of course, you want to try and, as I said, individually you target a bowler that you think you can take down. So there was a period there where Colin was bowling with a spinner, where the spinner wasn't really spinning it that much. And perhaps there was an opportunity for us. But you could see, I mean, Aiden tried to take the ground home and he got out. The guys did try, but they found it really difficult with him, especially because he was moving the ball laterally. Is that the right laterally? Laterally. Yeah, so the guys tried, but everyone's feedback was that he was the hardest guy to get away. But yeah, you're right in saying there's possibly 10, 15 runs in the middle period there where there was a possible of just trying to put a bit more intent. But even with that, I thought we set up our innings pretty well. That's normally where you, your last 10 overs, you get a little cameo of someone, and you get to 260, 270, and that would have been a good enough score on this wicket.
Faf, as we sit here, South Africa is still alive in this tournament. It'll take some creative accounting to get them, apparently. But from the bottom of your heart, does it feel like it's over?
Yeah, it's tough now. I mean, like you can feel the dressing room. The guys are they're hurting. I'm feeling 5 years older. My body is really sore after that. So we left everything out there, and that's all I can ask for as a captain. That the guys fight. They showed that. Unfortunately, we've just not been as good as the opposition that we've played against. New Zealand today was a little bit better than us. And that's a skill thing. It's not a hunger thing. It's not a determination thing. It's not a fight thing. So, yeah, I can't fault the team for that.
Faf, you said it felt like Auckland a bit 4 years ago. It's New Zealand. 4 years previously it was in Dhaka. Again, New Zealand. What is it about this team that South Africa just can't get past?
No, I think New Zealand is an excellent tournament team. If you look at statistically how they've played tournament cricket. When I talk about tournament cricket, it's probably ICC events. Their win ratio is up there with the best, the Indias and the Australias. They've always used the underdog tag, but they're certainly not an underdog this tournament. They're 4 from 4 at the moment, and I think it obviously helped them in fact that the ball was swinging. We know that New Zealand, if you play against them and the ball is swinging through the air, they're as good as any team. That's why they were so good in the previous World Cup when they played all their games at home. So when you play against a team like that, you're hoping that there's not too much swing, because then you can target some of their bowlers. But they were once again excellent with the swinging ball today. They're a good all-round team, and they've proven that for a long time now.
Faf, you've kind of touched on it a little bit, but just in terms of, you keep saying, we haven't been as good as the opposition that we've played. What do you think you can put that down to? Is it preparation in the lead-up? Is it the last 4 years? Like, just what is it?
No, it's just pure numbers on the board. Batters getting the runs that they should. If you look at opposition, there's been big runs scored by batting lineups. We've got a pretty youngish batting lineup. If you take Rassie, Aiden, guys like that, even Andy to a degree hasn't. He's going really good with his cricket, but he's young in terms of putting innings together. So I think if you compare our batting lineup, especially our batting lineup to other batting lineups around the world, purely on a numbers point of view, that doesn't stack up with the rest of the world in terms of numbers. So we're not as experienced perhaps as other teams when it comes to that. But yeah, the reason why I say not as good as other teams is we're just not producing scores or innings that can win you games. I think the bowling they've been fighting this whole competition, probably bar the Bangladesh game where we were a little bit off. We need more runs.
Faf, England have spoken a lot about their kind of 4-year plan and the clean-up that happened after 2015. Does South African cricket need something like that in terms of plans for 2023, starting immediately after this tournament and kind of picking players with the 4-year plan in mind?
I think that will happen naturally with quite a few guys at the end of their careers. So you're probably getting 3 or 4 guys getting away from that. And then you will, depending on Cricket South Africa, how they feel in terms of what they believe is a good way forward. They might want a complete change. Those are things you sit down and talk about. For me, it's just finding we've got some young players, so there's a future there. The young guys, I've really backed them this tournament. I think they've got a great future ahead of them. Rassie has shown that he's the real deal. I think he's got leadership capabilities as well. He's standing up to be a strong man in a big tournament for us. Andy has done well as a young guy. Aiden we know the kind of player he is. He showed signs today that he can do it. It naturally will happen. You'll probably lose 6 or 7 players after this tournament. Whether you want to change more than that, no, I don't think you need to do more than that.
Faf, we know that you set quite high standards for yourself, both in the field and with the bat, and you came into the competition with good form. You must be disappointed that you didn't step up. As far as runs are concerned, you got starts but didn't kick on.
No, definitely.
And just a message to the fans back home.
Okay. Batting. I'm in the same category as the stuff that I've been saying. When I speak about putting your hand up and putting performance, I don't point my finger away. I point it at us as a unit. And certainly, I need to be the leading run scorer in our batting unit with Quinny. Probably, that's been happening the last 2 seasons. I am feeling good. Just a case of making those starts, turning them into scores. Today got to give credit. It was a pretty good ball. But I know my big score's around the corner. I'm feeling good. Hitting the ball nicely. But yeah, I'm part of the guys not putting enough runs on the board. Sorry. Second, there was, this message to the fans is quite a tricky one. But the guys are fighting. That's all I can say. I know South African people are very passionate, and they're obviously probably a little bit angry at the moment, and rightly so. As a team, we take that on the chin. We're not pointing fingers anywhere or anywhere else. But as I said, as a team, we're just not as good as the other teams at the moment. And that's our mistake. So, we take it on the chin.
Faf, in a tight game like this and in a World Cup, do you think that you miss, premier batsman, a world-class batsman like Ken Williamson today, or a Joe Root or a Virat Kohli, somebody who can take the game away?
Yeah, that's what I said. If you look at our batting unit, our top 6, we've got some future talent and some promising players. But if you put our top 6 and you put the other top 6s around the world, purely on a numbers point of view, we won't be in the top 3 when it comes to that. So a lot of guys are starting their journey. So, I mean, yes, obviously you can say you want more players with more experience and more runs, but it's not an option.
I'm sure what you'll tell your teammates to, you'll sort of console your teammates, but what do you do? We know you're a cool guy, but how do you sort of react to this? Do you get emotional? Would you get emotional? Or you're from Lance Klusner's school who said no one died, it's just a game. How would Faf du Plessis be in the hotel room tonight?
Yeah, good question. I said that when we got to this tournament that if you put everything out there and a better teams beat you, then life will go on. And that's I don't hide away from the fact that I'm not disappointed. Obviously, I'm extremely disappointed. Cricket means a lot to me, and the performance of this team means a lot to me. But I certainly can't, if results don't go our way, start running in the other direction. That's not my character. So I'll keep pushing forward and facing north, and hopefully that will, be good for the team in ways that will be good for myself as well.